Recommendations and Implementations Plan, Lung Center of the Philippines Information Technology Services section for the BizBox software. Current ICT situation of the BizBox software hospital system. The BizBox software can only be used internally within the center only. Medical records cannot be retrieved from other hospitals. No medical staff profile on BizBox. The software does not link a detailed information of the users of the software to easily identify who made modifications or deletions on the patient records. Patients or patient's family cannot view their patient's record at their own pace. They always have to ask the nurse on duty for details. No summary of patient checkups and records. Recommendations. Number 1. The Lung Center of the Philippines Information Technology Services section should create a profile for medical staffs and link to the patient's detailed chart. This is for the reason that whenever a medical staff assists a patient, they can easily identify who and if the medical staff is really working in the hospital or not. Second recommendation is to create a database of the software to be able to view the patient's record in other hospitals in case there is a need to release medical information records. Since the Lung Center of the Philippines specializes lung problems or lung illnesses, some patients may be having sickness on other organ problems like in the heart or a kidney. And when they are being transferred to another hospital, that hospital can just release or extract the details of the patients to continue medication. Fourth recommendation is to view the BizBox profile and the hospital ward centralized ward chart. For patients and patients' family, they can easily go to the centralized ward chart in each nursing ward so that they can just log in or provide the password given to them or give their room number so that they will be able to get the information or the details of their patient as well as the updated billing history. Number 4 recommendation is for patients' visits or checkups, and this should be all listed down in the BizBox software as well as the prescriptions that was provided by their doctors automatically and should be electronically kept. For implementation, since BizBox is a commercial off-the-shelf software, the hospital should request for an additional budget for BizBox improvement and an in-house support specialist who can manage the software for maintenance. This means the hospital should send their information technology employee for BizBox software training.
Recommendations and Implementations Plan for Lung Center of the Philippines Information Technology Services section. Proposed for ICT project team. The current IT situation, the Information Technology Services section was headed by Dr. Dominador San Andres and composed of 9 other resources from administrative and technical groups. Currently, there is no specific person or group assigned to check and monitor specific project implementations. Recommendations: creation of the ICT team that will oversee the projects and programs implementations and implement computerization and the operations of all offices in the hospital. So for the implementation, The management team or the project management team encompasses all the ICT related projects. It covers the project management processes, defining project scoping and key project metrics, schedules and resource planning, managing risks, and managing human resources. The project management team shall be headed by the IT Director, Dr. Dominador San Andres, and will be composed from the administration and technical team. The project management team functions to monitor and track the project progress and ensure that projects will be delivered according to plan. Next proposal is the Office Interconnectivity Project. Current IT situation. The Lung Center of the Philippines has several departments, offices, and units in different locations inside the hospital vicinity which are not interconnected. Recommendations. With separate offices and medical units, the hospital should implement network interconnectivity within the whole hospital system so all locations can work, communicate, collaborate, and share information easily, instantaneously, and effectively. The Office Interconnectivity Project will establish seamless connectivity to all departments and units. The interconnection will also help medical personnel to get access to the World Wide Web and be updated on the latest developments on hospital trends and medical researches. Implementation. To connect many distant employees at once, all offices and units must be able to access the same network resources. A centralized location will house the core infrastructure needed to establish the network, such as servers and databases. Local area networks and wireless LAN will be installed to strategic locations within the hospital to provide the best in both security and ease of use capability. Next proposal, the Hospital Portal and Website Project. Current IT situation. The Information Technology Service Section maintains the LCP's public website. There is no dedicated or full-time staff for doing update in the website. They have to pull resources off from other tasks to take care of updating the website that they might or might not be familiar with it. Currently, there is no existing internet site implemented in the hospital. Recommendations. Acquisition of a third-party or outsourced contractor to redesign and update the existing company website. This should also include the creation of an intranet which will serve as a communication and information gateway in the hospital system. The implementation will require an outsourced web developer that will enhance into a functional and attractive web presence. Implementation. Hospitals should acquire an outsourced contractor since it can provide flexibility in delivering the proper staffing level and required skill set quickly. With less cost and time investment, as well as providing expertise that may not be available or is inadequate within the current hospital staff. Number 2, an outsourced contractor can also provide staffing well versed in the usage of the most current technology without the need of the company or the hospital to provide training to the in-house staff in its use. The cost of acquisition of the technology or equipment The same holds true for specialized tools and equipment, in that the contractor would be required to supply the tools and equipment to perform the work required.
I will be discussing the last and final recommendations and implementation plan for the Lang Center of the Philippines, specifically the Information Technology Services section. The current ICT situation at the Lang Center of the Philippines is that they are still using the old telephone service, or the plain old telephone service, or POTS, the telephone service employing analog signal transmission over copper loops. This has a lot of disadvantages, and the two main issues at the center are: first, it has limited local numbers for their day-to-day activities. This is due to the subscription limitation. And secondly is the high cost of subscription, because separate lines has additional subscription, and if you want an additional numbers, it gives you a high cost. The group recommends the usage of the voice IP phone system. This is to improve further the hospital communication system using available technologies for day-to-day operation and for disaster management. There are a lot of advantages and benefits of using the voice IP phone system. Some of which are: first, it saves costs because voice traffic travels via internet, which is cheaper. Second is portability. You can use the same number virtually elsewhere. Third is the integration and collaboration with other applications. Since voice IP runs through internet, it can easily integrate and collaborate with other applications that runs in the internet as well. And lastly, it's easier to install, configure, and maintain. On implementing the voice IP telephone system, you can see from the diagram above that a basic voice IP deployment is rather simple. Your LAN is the center of your deployment. It acts as the connector and transport mechanism for the entire system. Your voice IP PBX acts like the quarterback of a football team. It manages your voice IP phones, call control, and connection to voice services. Your internet connection is utilized by your voice IP service provider to send and receive your voice IP calls. Your voice IP PBX has a special PCI card that allows you to be connected to the PSTN for local calls and failover. And lastly, the voice IP phones are all that most will ever see of the system. They are the endpoints that give users access to voice services.